How would you feel if you found buried treasure? I don't know about you, but I'd be pretty excited. Wow. It's something that, as kids, you read about in books and maybe you dream of it. Sometimes you just want to stumble over that pot of gold. Well, I just read about an Austrian plumber where that dream became a reality. So the plumber in Austria was working on a remodel and he saw a rope. And so he pulled the rope to see, what that rope went to, what it did. And it didn't come immediately free. So he tugged and then he took his shovel and he freed it from the cement. It turned out to be a metal trunk that had been buried, and when he opened it up, there was a treasure of rare coins, and they've been valued at $2.4 million. Now, Austrian law says that even though he's not the owner of the house, that the finder gets to keep half of what they find. So that means just by tugging and then being persistent enough to dig out and not let it go, he became an instant millionaire. Isn't that cool? But here's the other part of the story that really got me. A day before that, another plumber also saw the rope and he pulled, but it didn't come free, so he let it go. So he missed out on an amazing blessing just because he wasn't willing to be persistent enough to see what was at the end of that rope. I want to encourage you today that whatever your vision is, whatever your goal is, whatever you are believing God to do in your life, that sometimes that first tug, it's not going to break free. Sometimes it takes a few tugs and you have to tug a little harder. Sometimes you really have to dig in and you have to give it all that you have and put your weight into it to pull it. And sometimes you have to grab a shovel and you have to dig it out. In James chapter 1, it says that when troubles of any time come your way, you consider it for an opportunity for great joy. So, in the midst of the struggle, you want to have joy. But it goes on to say that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So, as you're pulling and you have faith that it's all going to come out, that you're going to break it free, that you are going to get exactly what you've been working towards, exactly what you've been praying for, then you will be able to stay in that fight a little bit longer. But then here is the final result. Once your endurance has grown according to the scripture, when it's fully developed, you'll be perfect and complete and you'll need nothing. I love reminding myself that persistence doesn't only get me the result, but it really deepens my faith and makes me a stronger person. And that is a blessing that will carry you beyond that one thing that you're praying for or working towards, and it'll help you in the rest of your life. I'm also reminded of the story of the persistent widow in Luke chapter 1. She kept going to a judge to get justice against an adversary. And she didn't go just one time. She kept going until she got the answer that she wanted. And because she persisted and would not leave the judge alone, he finally granted her request just because he didn't want to be bothered anymore. But she had what I like to call aggressive faith. She was unwilling to let it go. I know that for many entrepreneurs, that is really the secret of their success. They simply dig in and they're unwilling to give up. Just like that plumber was unwilling to let it go. He wasn't going to leave that rope there and not keep tugging on it until he saw where it went. So, whatever that rope is for you today, I want to encourage you to please keep tugging, dig in. It might hurt your hands a little bit to keep tugging. You may sweat a little bit because of the effort that it takes to keep tugging. But if you keep tugging, something will break free. And sometimes you may need to grab something else to help you. Maybe that's another person. Maybe it's another tactic. Whatever that tool is, dig until it comes up. Because when you get to that treasure, mm, there is nothing that will compare to that. I hope that today's video blesses you. And if it did, I encourage you to share it with someone else and invite them to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much. And remember, keep digging because there is a blessing at the end of that shovel.